Okay, so in the previous videos, we created these two tables, right? We created the teacher's table in datasheet view. We created the rooms table in design view. In the last video, we went to database tools and we created a relationship between the two tables. And now, hopefully, all of that work will kind of come together in this video where you'll understand better why we're doing what we're doing. So we're going to open up the teacher's table. And we were here previously because we entered the data into the table. I came back and entered a few more records, okay? But what you didn't see before is this little plus. See this little plus on the left-hand side? So if I hit this plus for Mickey Mouse, what it does is it opens up the rooms table, right? So the rooms table, if you remember, had room number, max students, computer count, and teacher ID, right? So I'm going to show you right now, the rooms table has nothing in it. Okay, I just opened it. I'm going to close it back up again. So what I'm going to do here for the teacher ID 1 is Mickey Mouse. I'm going to assign room number 101 to Mickey Mouse. And I'm going to say there's 30 max students, and currently the computer count has it at 25. Okay, and so I'm going to assign that room to Mickey Mouse. All right, notice there's a little pencil there, meaning that it's still being edited. Okay, if I come down here now and I click under Donald Duck, okay, hit the little plus sign for Donald Duck, and I click now, that one has been entered into the table. And if I open up the rooms table, I will see that sure enough, look at that record I just added up here, 101, right? Max students 30, computer count 25 has been assigned to teacher ID 1. I didn't type that 1 in, right? I didn't even have the ability to type that 1 in. But because I entered it underneath teacher ID 1, which is Mickey Mouse, and because there's a relationship between those two tables, it automatically assigned that 1 to the rooms field record, right? So it made the teacher ID field 1 in the room's record table. Okay, the record for that table. I hope I'm not confusing you more. Should have had another cup of coffee or one less today, I think. Anyway, so let's keep going here. So we have room number, and here we're going to enter room number 102, and I'm going to put max students 35, and I'm going to make a computer count of 1. Okay. And so now I look at, watch, if I go to rooms right now, you won't actually see it because I'm still editing the record. I have to step off the record in order for that record to be committed. But as soon as I do that, okay, I actually would need to refresh it here too. So I would need to close it and reopen it. Okay. As soon as I do that, you'll see that both of those records are now in this table, right? This one is assigned to teacher ID 2. This one is assigned to teacher ID number 1. Now, what some of you might be wondering is, well, could I add the data to this table? Okay, could I? And the answer is yes. So if you know, let's say, so teacher ID, I'm going to shrink these back down again because it does look confusing like that. I have 3 teachers, teacher ID 1, teacher ID 2, teacher ID 3, right? So if I go to the rooms table, I haven't assigned any rooms to Thomas May yet, teacher ID 3, right? So, but if I go to my rooms table and I know my teacher ID number is 3, I'm going to go here and I'm going to say, okay, room number 103 currently has a count of 40. The computer count has it at 35. And I'm going to assign my teacher ID number right here. I'm going to make it a 3 because I know that it's teacher ID 3 that I want to assign it to. Okay, so I save this and I close out of this. And then I come back here, and now I do have to close it and reopen it in order to see this. When I go to Thomas May, look at that. See how it knew what it was? But the difficult part there is I need to know that it's teacher ID 3, right? Whereas if I enter it here, I don't need to know that. So what if Thomas May is in another classroom? So I'm going to do room number 4, and this one is 30, and his computer count is 20, right? Step off that record. When I open up my rooms table, I see that I have 2 room numbers assigned to that teacher ID, right? And I didn't have to know what his teacher ID was because it assigned it, sort of like I talked to you about your parent to your child, right, where I assign my child their last name. Same thing happens in this situation when you add a room number in the teacher's table. Because it's a sub-table and there is a relationship built between the two, that number will automatically be assigned. Okay, let's take this one step further. Remember, in the previous video, and I'm going to just close out of this just to prove it out, in Database Tools, went to Relationships. This relationship I set up with this enforce referential integrity. And I sort of explained it, but I'm going to kind of prove it out now. What I said is it makes sure that your data basically has integrity so that I can't assign a room to a teacher that doesn't exist. I cannot assign a room to a teacher that does not exist. So if I go to rooms right now and I put in another room number, right, and I put in this information. So now, teacher ID 5. Do I have a teacher ID 5 in this table? Let's look. Nope, I don't. I don't have a 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't have any of those, right? So I put in teacher ID number 5, and I click off the record because we know that clicking off the record is what saves the record. Immediately, I get this message. You cannot add or change a record because a related record is required in table teachers. And oh, okay. So I need to make this a 1, a 2, or a 3. Okay. So I say, oh, this was meant to be teacher ID number 2, so I'm going to change it to 2, and now it lets me save them. Okay. So why is this so important? Well, remember that this teacher ID is based on whatever this teacher ID number is here, right? And remember that this teacher ID number is an auto number field, right? And I had said to you that one of the things that you can screw up when you're doing this, if I start to enter a record here, right, and I step off it and then I come back or and I decide I don't want it anymore, right, and I delete the record, watch what happens as I start doing another one. See how I don't have 4? 4 is not available to me anymore. So if you screwed up when you were first entering your data and you have an auto number field, you just need to make sure that your auto number field is the right record. Otherwise, your grader assignment is gonna be screwed up. It's not gonna work right because you're gonna get an error message saying either they're gonna tell you to assign the teacher ID number 1, but you might not have a 1 because you screwed up and didn't enter it correctly the first time. So just I know it's a little bit confusing, but it's really only confusing when we have a field that's an auto number field and when you've incorrectly entered data and then sort of escaped back out, so where you didn't add that record. And so, you know, one of the ways, and I'm actually going to prove this out. Let's see, I'm going to delete this and say yes. And close this out, close this out. Database tools, compact and repair. Okay, now I'm going to... Yes. So see, one of the ways that you can fix that is exactly what I was just saying, which was if you screw up your auto numbering, and this is only true if that's happened to you. Okay. If you delete all the records in the table or go back to where you screwed up, what you can do is close out of the table, go to that database tools, compact and repair, and that will fix that mistake for you because now see how it will allow me to get back to that 4 because nothing else was used after it. So 5, 6, 7 haven't been entered. So it will reset it to 4 in that case. If I had entered a 5, a 6, and a 7 with no 4, then that wouldn't work. I would have had to delete 5, 6, and then compact and repair. So hopefully I haven't confused you more. Honestly, it's only an issue if I just know students have done it in the past where they've accidentally started to, you know, they sort of skipped auto ID number 1 because they added a record by mistake. But you may not run into that issue at all. So all you really need to worry about is understanding this whole plus and minus piece where and how the tables are related to one another. Okay, hopefully you're enjoying Access so far. It really is a pretty cool tool. And I'm actually going to hit escape on this one because I don't want to add that in. And notice that as you're adding data, sometimes you need to redo that best fit because now I've added more data and I want to be able to see all of it. Right, so I just click there and in between each to do that best fit. All right, that's it for this video.